You're listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Todd and his three sons, Kellen, Garrett, and Gannon.
Welcome back to all of our friends, family, and even those foes to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Along with my two oldest sons, Kellen and Garrett, I am Todd Foxx. And once again, we make the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. We make it special as well. Unfortunately, Gannon just moved into Harding this weekend, so he will not be available. It's just starting college, but a lot has been happening. We're going to talk some Oklahoma Center noise out there, and then we're going to also talk a little NFL here at the end. So, Garrett, take it away with some Sooner information you got for us.
Well, pretty big week on Sooners' side. I think came as a shock once Ted Roof got let go or mutually separated. I don't really know, but I would imagine it's more of a
I think it was
kind of thing. Yeah, kind of a push out the door. But
yeah.
And then we supposedly everything's coming out saying we're hiring Zac Alley as our new defensive coordinator. One quick thing on Ted Roof, though, personally, it makes sense. I think he got a lot of hate for no reason, in my opinion. Like, he still helped this defense tremendously and got it better than what it was. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is just he's not going to be able to get us to where we need to be. Like, we were content, or we were okay with the way our defense performed until the later half of the season. But to be able to compete, I mean, you see in the national championship level, it's got to be at a different level. And I just don't think he was going to be able to do that. A lot older. And a lot of people said he didn't really do a whole lot of recruiting either, which I think turned a lot of recruits off, that they didn't give a whole lot of a relationship with the defensive coordinator. But that being said, now we're bringing a kind of a completely opposite defensive coordinator, Zac Alley, who has done some coordinating on the defensive side at Jacksonville State for one season. I haven't heard any criticism of the hire at all. I think if there were to be any, it's only the fact that he's younger and hasn't proved at like a top level. But in my opinion, if there's a defensive coordinator out there who has proved himself at the top level, they're probably going to be a head coach soon. And if not, they're not going to leave and they're already at like a blue blood program or something like that. So I would rather go and get a guy who's proven himself on the lower tier than a defensive coordinator who's middle of the pack on, FBS, whatever. So that's kind of my thought processes on the hire. But was at Clemson with Venables as a graduate assistant for a couple of years in 15 to 18. Was a linebackers coach for our Boise State for a couple of years. And then Louisiana Monroe. And then, like I said, Jacksonville State, where he did pretty good. They ranked, I believe it was, let's see here, I just had it, 33rd in the country defensive rating out of any team. So I know they weren't playing a whole lot of good teams, but again, that's just kind of where you're going to have to pick and choose on if you want a middle of the pack defensive coordinator at a higher named program or this guy who's kind of dominated at the level he was at.
Yeah, I heard Venables offered Roof an analyst position again, but he wanted to be on the field. I'm not saying on the field, but he wanted to be coaching. So I think that he knew at that point. They both agreed, but I also think that he was probably more apt Venables to replace him. Last year, everybody was busting chops on Roof. This year, it seemed like it was more Levy. Both of them are gone, so we've got a brand new coaching staff, which is what you're used to, though, at the University of Oklahoma, whether folks get promoted or they get terminated. One got promoted and one, basically, I don't know, whether or not you want to call it a firing or both. They did mutually agree, but they left. This new kid, I think, is going to be, from what it sounds like, a really good recruiter. I'm looking for his age. I can't find it anywhere.
He's, I think it's 29 or 30.
So he's a younger guy. I heard he's very energetic. He's So Venables, I don't know if you've seen him when he was the defense coordinator at Oklahoma and at Clemson, was a little fiery. And being the head coach, he's pulled back a little bit. This guy's going to take over that fire. I would expect to see him at least 2 years, maybe 3. But I think, I mean, obviously how the defense goes, you come to Oklahoma to become a head coach. You want to move up. So I think it's a fantastic hire from everything I've heard. But then again, we are going in a much more difficult conference.
Yeah, and obviously definitely excited to see him on the field and see how they perform on the field. But from what I was hearing and reading, he's more used to recruiting at the portal than like high school talent. Mainly because not a lot of high schoolers want to go to Jacksonville State, honestly, or
Sure.
Boise State even for that matter. Boise State probably more than Jacksonville State, but so he was more of getting the almost rejects, essentially, I guess you could call them, to go to Jacksonville State. So, getting the portal guys. So it's going to be fun to watch him kind of see who he wants to go after with the name and the brand of Oklahoma, and if he can succeed in doing so. Because we've already seen that Venables can do it.
Yeah.
And if he can get a coordinator who kind of matches the energy and what he wants, I think it could be awesome. But
100%. Like we were talking, I don't know if we talked about it on air or off air, but basically the back 7 of our defense is going to be back. And I think Ethan Downs will be back on the front, but I mean, we're going to hopefully get some new blood up there as well.
Well, I mean, we got announced yesterday, I think, that Trace Ford was coming back too.
Yeah,
so there's
Trace
another,
Ford.
Which, didn't do a whole lot this year, but another year.
Situational guy, though.
Yeah, and just experience. And then inside, I think, I always get these guys mixed up. I think it's it's Lacey. Lacey's staying, the transfer from Notre Dame last year. So that'll be big. And then obviously there are recruits coming in, but we're essentially returning starters at every single position on defense, and
that's fantastic, especially in Venables' defense. It's a lot more. It's difficult to try to understand and learn. So, plus, hopefully, those kids will be able to help bring along some of the the freshmen, sophomore guys as well. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward, obviously, to that. I saw we got a tight end. I think we got from Baylor. Is that right?
Yeah, Baylor, which he might not see the field a ton, but the reason that's such a big recruit is because his little brother is a tight end in 2025.
I did not know that.
He's a top 2 or 3 tight end right now. I think he's
a Norman kid, though? He's from Norman, right?
He's from the Oklahoma City area. I don't know. Yeah, I want to say it was Weatherford. I could be wrong. But so that's kind of the big, pro of getting this guy as our end. But we got another one as well, which this was a couple weeks ago, and we probably already talked about it. But Bauer Sharp. So we're going to have a lot better tight end depth this year. And then we got an offensive liner finally coming in, I think, which is going to be huge. We got Michael Tarquin, offensive tackle, who played at Florida for a couple years, then USC last year. And so he's got a lot of experience, and that's going to be a huge plus for the offensive line.
Is he going to take over for Rouse on the left?
I don't know. I think they're going to do a lot of mixing around, honestly. But we could see some freshmen in there. The All-American games for the high school level happened this past weekend, and I know our offensive lineman kind of showed out. Yeah. So that could be huge. And then I know we're seeing an offensive tackle from LSU who was a 5-star last year, who was kind of a rotational guy, is visiting Oklahoma and making a push for him. So that would be another big win. But yeah, it's definitely looking on the bright side. Got another edge rusher from Ohio of Miami. Or Miami of Ohio. That's what it is. Miami of Ohio. 9.5 sacks, I think. And so, good pass rushing experience. More depth. So, we're on the come up.
Yeah, for sure. And then next season, I don't know if you guys saw the ESPN put out like a way too early 2024 ranking. I think we play 5 of those teams, if I'm not mistaken. Texas is Georgia's 1, Texas is 2. We play Texas. Oregon 3, Alabama 4. We play Alabama. 5 is Ohio State. 6 is Michigan. We play Ole Miss, who's number 7. Missouri's number 8. Okay, so we play 4 of them. And then Arizona.
4 out of the top 10 is crazy.
Yeah, 4 of the top 10. It is crazy. And then LSU's 14 right before us. So we're playing 5 teams. And again, it's
early.
It's early, but
it's not the official yet. But
yeah, it's going to be a tough schedule, but it's going to be a fun schedule. I say that now in January, and probably, I don't know, mid-October, first part of November, I may be a little upset, but hopefully not.
Probably a little scared too. Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be these 2 power conferences. You got the Big Ten and the SEC. You guys caught the game last night, I'm assuming, and I know going into it was pretty hyped up, and I don't think it materialized into that big to match the hype, I guess is what I'm saying, unfortunately. What were y'all, I know, just quick thoughts on that game.
Well, yeah, the hype from the semifinals that was the best round of college football playoffs we've seen. So I think everyone was just kind of hoping to continue. And even though for the most part of the game it was a 1-score game, it just didn't feel like it. No one had any faith in Washington scoring. Penix kind of fell out of, just disappeared. And he could not hit any pass over 20 yards. Like they said, he had the most in the country of 20-plus yard completions, and he was 1 for like 9 or something like that last night. So I think I told Kellen last night that they were just playing way too conservative. Like, the only reason they were there is because they were one of the best deep ball teams, and they just were playing way too conservative.
Kellen, what do you guys say about that game?
I mean, it went about as everybody expected. I was hoping Washington would find a way, but I knew they were the worst team in those playoffs. They were lucky to be there. They're better than TCU was last year, but they're just like TCU last year. Like, we know why you're there. Like, you had a good season, but you're not anything compared to these other 3 teams. How you made it to the actual national championship is insane. But I mean, yeah, it's what we all expected.
So looking back on it, do you guys think the top 4 teams, not, obviously we had these teams, but do you think Georgia would have been one of those top 4 teams?
Yes, but you couldn't have put them ahead of Bama and Texas.
I know.
Yeah,
I agree. I totally understand. I'm just saying the bigger playoff next year will probably shrink it down a little bit. You may have, how like in the maybe, I don't know the answer to this, but you know how the Final Four in basketball sometimes has that Cinderella team. You might have a Cinderella college football team every once in a while. It would be kind of cool, I guess. I mean, I'm not meaning like a Boise State or Tulsa or anything like that. I'm just saying one of the guys that were maybe ranked 10th, 11th, or 12th that got hot at the right time or had somebody key in hurt early in the season and lost. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think Georgia would have definitely been a much better game. Unfortunately, I think Penix was obviously got a little bit hurt. I was disappointed because I was looking forward to seeing him. I mean, I thought there was a couple drives where he seemed like he had some darts, but he didn't throw really far down the field that was completed anyway. So that was kind of disappointing there. Michigan's just physical. Michigan's tough. I think this is Michigan's best team they've had in years, obviously. And a lot of people are talking about the cheating and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw what I posted today, but it said that basically one of these guys said they were talking to somebody, I think it was at the Rose Bowl, and they said that, let me pull it up real quick.
So
look at
basically
Alabama.
Everyone's cheating.
Yeah, look, it said an Alabama official told me at the Rose Bowl, this is from Brett McMurphy, everyone's cheating. And they're all stealing signs. Michigan's not the only school doing that. And he added an industry source. Kansas basketball cheats more than anyone, and they didn't do anything about Kansas or do anything to Kansas. And the only pure thing about college athletics is Vanderbilt. and Vanderbilt stinks, basically. So it is what it is. But, I mean, let me ask you guys this. What are your percentages, 1 to 100, that Jim Harbaugh is coaching Michigan next year?
About 5%.
Yeah, probably 20.
Yeah, that's kind of what
Reason being for me is because he is losing
Yes.
pretty much his entire team, and he has nobody coming in. Nobody. He's got an okay quarterback coming in, and other than that, that's about it. Like, maybe they have more depth than we think, but they do not have hardly anyone returning.
I'm sure.
After the game last night, he was saying when he dies, he hopes that in his eulogy they say he was a Michigan man. And it sounds cool, and then you're like, but it also sounds like you're leaving.
I think he's leaving. I'd say 20%. Only reason he would stay in Michigan, maybe. Well, I shouldn't say the only reason, but money. But I mean, that is his alma mater, and I think he'll be in the NFL next year. I really do. And just watching him talk on the press conferences, and I just get that feeling that he definitely going to be gone. Plus, I mean, let's be honest. I feel like NCAA's kind of out to get him in a sense. There's going to be some kind of sanctions come down. And I think it's better for the Michigan program if he did leave, because I don't think they would be as harsh if he's gone.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It'll be fun. I'm personally, I'm happy he won. I was kind of torn between both games because honestly, I didn't really know who I was going to be for, and I still, if Washington would have won, I would have been fine with it as well. But I am happy. I'm happy he finally won a national championship. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the NCAA going to be able to do besides maybe fine him if he leaves to the NFL? Like,
right.
At that point, you just got away with it, essentially.
And it's getting harder. I mean, you got USC, who's not the greatest, but I mean, you got Washington and Oregon coming in. I know he's got to play Washington next year. He plays Texas, you know.
Washington, Texas,
Ohio
Oregon,
State,
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an easy schedule.
No, it's not. And you're going to see that with those top two conferences. Go ahead.
Well, like I said, he's losing everybody. So he would be lucky if he only lost 3 games.
Oh, yeah.
And in the new Big Ten, 3 games, you're not going to get in. You'll get a good bowl game, but you're not going to get in.
You don't think you get in the 12?
No. I think Kel's computer just died. I think the SEC is the only team or the only conference that's going to have 4, and I think it'll be 4 max. I think you'll see the 2 that were in the championship game, and then probably the next 2 are best resume.
Sure, 100%. So. Yeah, so if you're watching us on YouTube, Kellen just disappeared. But going into this, he had about 17% left. He could not find his charger, but hopefully he'll come back here pretty soon before the end of the podcast. But if he doesn't, that's where he
If not, you're about to see the best duo in podcast history.
Guaranteed.
Go at it. Now
we start cussing, so there we go.
Yeah.
But no, so what here's the NFL job openings right now. We got the Chargers, Washington, Atlanta, Carolina, Raiders, and Tennessee. And then I want to talk about potential job openings. Most likely New England's going to open up. I don't know whether or not he's going to Belichick's going to trade it or get fired. The issue is if he gets traded, that takes a while, and then potential candidates that are out there may get hired on somewhere else. Personally, I think New England's gonna hire Vrabel from just got fired today from Tennessee. There he goes. He's coming back. Awesome. And
no, I think Vrabel you said New England?
Yes, he's going to go to New England.
No, I think that's a perfect fit.
Oh, I think
for both.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, now that he's going there, I'm not going to ever they're one of my favorites, but I like Vrabel, and I think he's going to be fantastic there. Some other potential openings. Welcome back, Kellen.
Apparently, computers die at 8% now.
Oh, way to go. Did you find your charger?
Yeah, I guess Taylor cleaned the room, so it was just sitting there.
That's pretty cool. Very good. Anyway, Kellen, we're talking about Harbaugh and the chances, and we talked about this 6 teams openings right now: Chargers, Washington, Atlanta, Carolina, the Raiders, and Tennessee. And we're talking about Belichick most likely will be out. The other ones I have written down, like Chicago, I don't know if they're going to go in a different direction. Is it Eberflus? Is that how you say his name? I don't know.
Something like that.
Personally, I think he'll stick around at least one more year. His side of the ball at least is better. Plus, they've got the first pick in the draft. I don't know. I mean, maybe if Harbaugh said, "Hey, he would go there," then that might happen. But I don't think he's going to go to Chicago. Here's two other openings I want you to think about. What happens if Philadelphia gets beat against Tampa Bay in the first round? Do you think that is that a chance?
No, they'll just use Hurts as the scapegoat.
Okay.
So I think Sirianni's going to be just fine.
Well, they don't. I mean, Philadelphia, man, they don't play around. Like they had a Super Bowl winning coach. A couple years later, let him go. They had Nick Foles, let him go. Anyway, Andy Reid did good forever. What about if Dallas gets bounced in the first round against the Packers? You think McCarthy's gone?
Oh yeah, Jerry's pretty much made it pretty clear without saying it word for word.
All right. So where do you think Harbaugh lands? I say Chargers. I don't know about you guys.
For some reason, I'm seeing a lot of things about the Raiders, and I would say that's probably where he ends up.
Wow.
I don't know why. I don't know why he would go there.
I don't either. Unless they gave him like some kind of control of draft, or I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't make me sad, but they don't have the quarterback where the Chargers do. So
Right.
Kellen, what do you think?
I don't know. I've seen what Gary's saying about the Raiders. I would think the Chargers would make the most sense. When I look at the 6 teams with current openings, the Chargers is the most attractive. Like, you just think, like the hype that's behind Justin Herbert, you'd think that team would be set to do well. Other than that, like, I mean, Tennessee and Carolina got young quarterbacks, but like Carolina's going to be bad for a while.
Yeah.
Washington's always bad. Atlanta, there's potential depending on who ends up as quarterback next year.
Yeah.
So I mean, at Raiders, it's just I have no idea. I feel like I don't know what their issue is every single year. They always come up with some sort of excuse.
Culture.
The thing about the Chargers, though, is they have one of the worst debt next year, so they're gonna have to blow up a lot of people. So even though they have a good roster,
yeah,
the only reason you're going there is because of Herbert. No other reason.
No, yeah,
Not
I mean,
because of the fans, that's for sure. Because no one shows up.
Well, yeah,
they got a couple of good pieces on defense, but yeah.
Well, if you look at all those teams that have an opening, the 6, and then I'm telling you, New England's coming open. All right, so it's gonna happen. So of all those 7, Chargers are the only one who got a quarterback. So Washington will probably go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Washington's probably going to pick one.
Yeah, they're going to pick one. And then Atlanta, I don't know, down at what they have 8th pick, maybe. I don't know who would be there.
They'll get a new quarterback. Yeah.
Could be Kellen's favorite, Penix. I don't think he may not go that high though. I don't think. But Carolina, they've got a quarterback, but I just don't think he's the answer. The Raiders need a quarterback, and then Tennessee. Will Levis is still young. I just don't know if he's like a big difference maker. I think he could win, 7, 8 ball games a year, but I don't think he's going to, if you want that guy to help win a championship, I don't think that's him. And the New England, they've got to redo completely the way they're thinking. And New England has, what pick was it for them? Right now it's Chicago, Washington, New England 3. So I don't know, how it goes down. Drake May and Caleb Williams will probably go, 1 and 2, probably. I don't know, but who knows?
That's where I'm seeing a lot of things randomly saying they're picking Jaden Daniels, but
yes, that's right.
That'd probably be the dumbest pick of all time.
No, you're right. That's who I saw. You're exactly right. So, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know NFL wise. I mean, we haven't talked a whole lot of NFL since early part of the year. So obviously, those who listen and watch the podcast, don't unsubscribe. There'll be some things we'll talk about throughout the off season for the University of Oklahoma, but we've also got some NFL news we'd like to talk about. We've got the Thunder we'll probably do from time to time, I know. But so tell me this: the games this weekend. Here's who's playing. I got it up here somewhere. Let's kind of who do you think is going to win the Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans? How do you see that going?
Texans.
Do you really?
I think C.J. Stroud is just a different. He's really good.
Yeah, he is. 100%.
Granted, Cleveland's got the best defense, and it's not close. But I think CJ, we've seen he's 5-1, I think, against teams with winning records this year. So he doesn't shy away from good teams and pressure. Yeah. That's for sure. And we saw him against Georgia last year in the playoffs, which I'm not saying this is the same thing, but
he looked good.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That defense was insane.
Against probably the best defense of last year in the college football, sure.
Yeah, and so he's got weapons. He's got enough weapons. It's more of just can they scheme it well enough to kind of confuse the Cleveland defense, and
100%.
Can Houston's defense stop Cleveland?
Cal, how do you see that game going?
I think it's got to go Browns just because of the defense. I agree. C.J. Stroud is insane. I think he was a top 3 quarterback this year, but like that defense is crazy. The only way I see Texans winning is capitalizing off Flacco's turnovers. He's putting up crazy numbers, but he also has multiple turnovers a game.
Yeah.
They got to clean that up, but
we'll see. I don't
know. The little Flacco magic has just had me stunned the last few weeks.
It's wild. 100%. It's crazy. In the other 2 other games, so in the AFC, the Steelers at the Bills. What do you think?
Bills.
It's Steelers don't even know how they got there. TJ Watt's not going to be playing.
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. They're the last seed, the last what do you call it? Wild card team, I think, on that side, aren't they?
This is almost like when they made it a couple years ago in Big Ben's last year going against the Chiefs. Like, everyone knew. Everyone knows.
Bills are peaking at the right time, which is fantastic to see. I wouldn't mind seeing them go to the Super Bowl, but I'm not sure that will happen. We'll talk about that, obviously, later on. But I do think the Bills will win that one as well. And then here's the thing, the Dolphins and the Chiefs. Here's something I'm a little disappointed in. The NFL has put that game on Peacock only. So we can't even watch unless you got Peacock, which, number one, I think is ridiculous to do that for a playoff game. But then this game as well. So how do you see
Peacock's like 90? I got it for like 99 cents a month. So
do you really?
99 cents. It might be like $3.99 because I got a Black Friday deal, but it's not bad.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting. So all of our, I think last check, I don't know, 200-something followers, 200-something thousand followers. So you guys, get that word out to everybody. So that's as a whole. But anyway, who do you think's going to win? Miami or the Chiefs? Because Chiefs are not playing very well.
Oh, neither. Well, we all seen Miami's like 1-6. I think, or something like that.
The only team they beat, was Dallas?
Yeah, of course.
Of course it was.
Man, I don't know. That's probably the most even matchup, in my opinion, this weekend. But I'll go out on a limb, put out my inner Chief hater and say Miami's winning.
Interesting. I think you're gonna be wrong, but go ahead, Kellen.
I think it's gonna be Chiefs. Or nah, it's gonna be Miami.
Really?
They got an explosive offense that actually knows how to play. Like Chiefs got a decent defense, but I mean when you can't catch the ball. Last week for New Year's Day, midnight hit. That's what I watched was Chiefs highlights this year. So
I will tell you, I think it's going to be the Chiefs. But then the game is it Saturday?
Yeah,
Saturday, and it's a night game on Saturday. It's going to be 10 degrees Saturday. So that means during the night it'll be 0 degrees. I don't think Miami will be able to play in that kind of weather. That's just my opinion. What?
They're going to run all over Kansas City.
Yeah,
Kansas City's not going to be able to run the ball
they're
like
used
Miami.
to warm weather,
that's for
though.
sure.
They're used to warm weather, and they're going to be like, "Oh my goodness, if it's like 40."
I don't know.
So I think we'll see the Chiefs in that game. I know I saw some buddy of mine put his tickets up for the game. 2 tickets. I think they're $300 something bucks a piece, $380 or something like. No shot. I'll watch it in my my home. All right, so let's go to the NFC, which I think were some really good playoff games. The Rams and the Lions. You've got Matt Stafford returning to the Detroit, stadium. He played for Detroit for many years. So, how do you see that game coming?
Detroit.
Lions.
I think everyone's kind of hyping up that one a little too much just because of Stafford, but I think Detroit's going to get.
I think Detroit will win, but I think it's going to be a better game than a lot of people think. But yeah, I mean it's pretty cool how it's going to be done. You got, like I said a minute ago, like Dolphins and Chiefs. You got Tyreek Hill coming back, and then the Browns and Texans. Those are the guys who made the Deshaun Watson trades. Pretty cool. All right, Eagles on Monday night play at Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are your thoughts?
I think this is going to be the lowest scoring game in the playoffs. I think the Eagles pull it off. I mean, it'll be fun either way. I mean, I love both quarterbacks, but I think Eagles have the better all-around team. But I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, maybe like 13-17 or something like that.
I think we're going to see a little Baker magic this weekend. I think Baker Mayfield's going to beat
that wouldn't hurt my feelings, I'll tell
the
you.
Eagles.
Yeah, that would not hurt my feelings at all. I think it does depend on which Baker shows up. I think Jalen Hurts is hurt, but I still think Philadelphia's got enough talent to go on the road.
Baker's hurt too, but yeah.
He is. He's always you're right, 100%.
But then are you prepared to lose to Baker in the second round?
If I'm going to lose to somebody, might as well be him. But
yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Better than freaking Brock Purdy or
yes.
You won't play Brock Purdy in the second round.
He's only played Dallas one time, and he lit us up when he played for Cleveland, and I knew that was going to happen. And then obviously the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Green Bay Packers. Rich history in these two teams playing in the playoffs. How do you see that game going?
Jordan Love does scare me. I'm not going to lie. I've been a believer since the beginning of the season, but he's quietly has the second most passing touchdowns in the NFL.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is getting enough credit, but he scares me. The only upside is I think they have enough weak links in their defense that's going to allow us to throw the ball a lot. And I think we're going to be just fine on defense as well for the most part. But sure. Yeah, I think Cowboys are winning.
Dallas. I don't think it's going to be close.
Really?
I think Jordan Love's good, but their team just doesn't stack up against Dallas.
Plus we're at home, so
it's home. Y'all play really well at home. I think in a way it's going to be like Dak and McCarthy. They got nothing to lose at this point. It's like if we got to just go out here and ball.
Yeah,
we got to go show off.
Well, yeah, I think it all depends on which Dak plays, which I think he'll be the better version. I mean, he actually had the best season he's had. I mean, he had the most touchdown passes in the league, and I think he only threw 7 interceptions. So I was wrong on that account, and I was also wrong on Jordan Love. I mean, so far he's been a lot better. I think he started off a lot really shaky, but he has really definitely turned a corner. So good for him. Good for the Packers. It's in Dallas. If it's in Green Bay, I may think differently. But since it's in Dallas, that home crowd, I think they can get everybody fired up. Hopefully, the defense will show up, stop the run. But Jordan Love can throw the ball very well as well. So that'll be. I hope Micah Parsons can get some pressure. Hopefully they'll call a couple holding calls against him because I don't think he's had one forever. But I still see Dallas. I think it's gonna be a little bit closer. concern of it that the kicker already, he did so well, and then he missed a couple kicks this past week. We're blowing him out, but hopefully he'll still has his confidence up for Dallas. But I see Dallas in the win. But we'll be talking more about the NFL next week and any Oklahoma Sooner news that might come up throughout here. Just make sure everybody always continues to keep track of the Twitter page. We are on Twitter. We're also on Instagram. We're on Facebook as well. But the best thing to do is you're listening to this or watching this YouTube video, subscribe and then comment. We love comments. We love talking to our subscribers or just whoever. Whether or not you want to bust our chops. You want to bust chops, that's fine. But just be prepared to get your chops busted right back. So that's all I can say. So you guys got anything else?
And I was just say, if you want to make fun of our names, because apparently someone did that a couple weeks ago, so be it. But
what do they mean by that? Anyway, I don't remember.
I don't know. I think they were making fun of you more so just for naming us our name. But,
What are you talking about? It just said Kellen Garrett Gannon. But I don't know. I didn't know who that was. But whatever.
Neither
you got anything else? Well, fantastic. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And again, please get on social media and interact with us. But I want to remind everybody that iron sharpens iron.
Please stay safe.
Be savage and not average.
And remember to join the skulk. And until next time, good.
Bye, everybody.
Boomer Sooner.
You've been listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast with Todd, Kellen, Garrett, and Gannon. Find us on Facebook at Foxx Den Sports. That's Fox with 2 X's. Drop us an email at foxdensports@yahoo.com. And be sure to share this podcast with other sports fans in your life. This has been Foxx Den Sports.